Saturday was Salisbury's homecoming football game, where our undefeated Seagulls took on the Montclair Redhawks. Parents' Weekend and the tailgate brought out fans young and old to grill out, chill out, and get ready for the 1 p.m. kickoff. At kickoff, Salisbury got the ball, and they didn't waste any time putting it in the end zone. Check out this pass touchdown from Jack Nowitzki in the first quarter. And they didn't stop there. They scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Check out this rush right down the middle for a touch. Going into the half, the score was 17-0, and Salisbury felt good, but knew there was more game to play. The cheerleaders came out and gave a wonderful performance, as well as the baton team, and we can't forget our Poms. Coming out of the half with recent offensive stalls, the defense knew it was up to them to win this game, and that's what they did. Check out this interception deep down the left sideline. The defense was able to keep the other team under 17 points, winning the game 17-15. I'm Colin Murphy with SU Sports. Hello, I'm Colin Murphy, and this is SUTV Sports. I'm here today with Chris Makoviak, Salisbury football's play-by-play announcer. Glad to have you here today, Chris.
Glad to be here, Colin.
So this homecoming game was a close one. Salisbury jumped out to a 17-point lead in the first quarter, but they failed to score any more points throughout the rest of the game. Tell me what happened to the offense as the game progressed and how the defense stood up to not being able to allow 17 points.
Well, first off, Colin, for anybody that watches SU football this season, last week against CNU, it was kind of the same instance overall. Salisbury led the game 21-0 at halftime, but then, you head to this week, same exact thing basically, except first 3 drives, all this success, and then you move down into the game and nothing else coming from these drives. So I'm not sure if Montclair State's defense, they saw something in film at halftime or they saw something on the field and said, oh, we know how to stop this triple option now. So I was not too surprised that the offense struggled at times in this game. Was I surprised that they got off to that great start? Yes, but then, you need to try something new as the game goes on to get more points on the board, obviously. They had a missed field goal in the second half, but I think we can attribute this mostly to Montclair State's great defense in the game. Salisbury's defense, you'll look at the stats, they were second in the nation in defending the rush entering the game, and they still are up there after it. Really halted Montclair State. Obviously, 6 turnovers helps the effort along the way, but it was really Montclair State, letting Salisbury stick with that lead. The Redhawks looked great in the second half, obviously. I'm honestly really surprised they didn't come back to win that game. It was a moment that could have been big for both teams. Salisbury ends up being the undefeated team forward. Both teams came into the game 5-0 for the first time since 2011 for both programs. But now Salisbury kind of, I think, from this game and the win over CNU, can take from it and say, this is what we have to work on to hopefully upset Wesley and Frostburg State, 2 top 10 teams still in the nation.
So obviously they have a lot to do on offense moving forward.
Yeah.
Last week they had a goose egg for passing yards, and the previous week they only managed to get 13 pass yards. What has been the focus for Salisbury's offense trying to get this passing game going?
And I'll be honest with you, Colin, the last 2 years it's been this wide receiving core. Excellent from top to bottom, very deep overall. But nearly all of them graduated entering this year. And that was the main issue. Lack of experience overall. They're not all freshmen, but a majority of them are trying to get into this passing game. It also does not help that the guy that everyone saw take the lead when Brandon Lewis was out for the ECAC Bowl at the end of last season, Jack Lanham, known for his big arm, known for really trucking guys down the field, he goes down with an injury in the first few games. Jack Nowitzki, a player, comes in who a lot of people were questioning his arm with, of course, Lanham out. And those questions haven't been really answered so far. They played some teams that weren't really the top of the NJAC so far this season, and now they're getting into this tougher stuff, and this is where the passing game is struggling. So it's a question really of Jack Nowitzki. He's still a sophomore, still trying to get that offense down with offensive coordinator Anthony Johnson, but they have to try to fix something because obviously you go against, as I mentioned, teams like Wesley or Frostburg State. They still go on a trap game, in my opinion, at Rowan coming up just before those 2 games. They have to figure out how to make this offense more versatile, because obviously if they can't pass the ball, then these teams are going to go right after the rushing ability, the triple option attack. Cameron Carlisle is basically the only receiver that you can say, hey, there's proof that he can have success down the field. They're going to be man marking him the entire game then. So obviously there's an issue. We see it in the stats. It's the triple option offense. They're not going to pass a lot, but still should be something greater than 0 that we see out on the field, of course.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Chris, for coming on the show. We got some good things to look forward to with Salisbury football.
For sure.
I'm Colin, and this has been SUTV Sports. We'll see you again next week.